No special guest star today. Okay. It's 6, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 6. Yeah, it's 6. Okay, I'll get started. Okay, just a couple quick announcements for this week. Next week, if you weren't aware, the Game Jam. Ooh. So we'll be doing a Game Jam prep meeting. So if you've never done a Game Jam before or haven't done one in a long time, we'll kind of be going over like what we sort of do for it, what kind of like things you need to kind of have figured out in advance. There's not too much. It's mostly just also like explain the rules and like other stuff, how we run it, stuff like that. So additionally, it's officially 1 month out until the semester jam is over. So if you are interested in participating in that, just make sure to, get going on that soon. So if you like happen to have nothing to do over Thanksgiving break, it's a great time to do it, especially because it's pretty much the deadline's right before that, or right after that, I should say. So also, I don't know if I made it super clear when we initially talked about it, but we do have like a cash prize for that, so keep that in mind. I encourage participation. But yeah, the theme is money, so just make sure it's like somewhat related to that. Additionally, Adam's here if you want to pay dues or also order a t-shirt. We'll be, just to make sure everyone knows, t-shirts, we'll be probably getting them sometime next semester. We haven't locked down a design yet, but we're looking to have that squared away pretty soon. So ideally, I will be getting them ordered sometime in December, and they'll hopefully arrive in January. We'll see. But anyway, also not really. Anyway, again, reminder, the Game Jam is next weekend, the 14th to the 16th. So make sure to swing by. It'll be a good time. We'll have food and games. So case studies. So for this week's meeting, we're doing something a little different from how we kind of normally do it. Instead of like me or like one of the other exec team members kind of like yapping at you, you're yapping at us, essentially. So it's kind of like a great way to kind of like, just a case study is essentially like a great way to like break down sort of like idea or like something you really like about a game or a couple games, whatever you really want. And there's no real like right or wrong way to do it. It's just kind of like basically just finding something you like about something and just kind of talking about it and why you think it works from kind of like an analytical kind of perspective. I'm not really like, if you have it as a summary, it's fine. But like generally we kind of want to keep it to more like, breaking down like why something works rather than just being like, I like this because it's cool, which sometimes you can't just be like, it's because it's cool. But like, I'm just like, I think honestly it's like stuff we've talked about before. So like level design, game mechanics, like music, theming, anything like that. Just whatever you can kind of have for that. I think a good way to kind of view it is like a review. You can be either like really critical or super positive about it, but like kind of just viewing it from like a little bit more like, again, analytical lens, I guess. So if you haven't sent your presentation already, please make sure to send in the meeting chat so that I can like have those pulled up. Additionally, I'd appreciate it if everyone mentioned their name before they like start. That's like the only real requirement, but I will also be timing people. So yeah, no more than 10 minutes. If you go over 10 minutes, I will be cutting you off just for time's sake. And I'll also let you know when like you have like 1 minute left, so you can kind of get wrapping up if you are about to. So, but without further ado, is there anyone who wants to go first? If not, I would guess I can, but okay, twist my arm. What's up? Oh, do you have one? We're doing like, we had like a little announcement about it, but we're doing like little case studies. So like talking about like a specific game.
Oh, I can do that.
Do you have slides made for it?
No.
Okay. If you want to work on those real quick, like while other people present, I guess you can do that and present maybe by the end. So, okay, I will go first. Okay. In case you couldn't guess what the game I'm talking about is, Persona 5 is a Japanese role-playing game, yada yada, you don't care. Anyway, oh, it's showing my secret notes on there. Okay. So kind of like rough synopsis of the game is like you play as like a high schooler, you're like in school, yada yada. You get like arrested because you're like a delinquent, and then like you got to go to another school and shit, and you got to like meet people and like do school things, but you also happen to be like technically like a superhero type shit. So like you essentially, there's like a, I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, okay, it didn't show up for some reason. There's kind of an image behind there. I don't know why, it's bugged. Again, I made these in high school. Give me some slack. But basically the idea is like the game has this like sort of parallel world where it's like the metaverse, not the Facebook one, different than that. This was in 2016, so different time. But so there's like this sort of metaverse that's like kind of this like unconscious, like this like collective unconscious kind of thing. So like this like psychology concept of like, oh yeah, like the things you like don't think about and stuff, and like desires, all that. It's not relevant, but it is relevant vaguely to the plot. But you basically get arrested at one point, you're on probation, and you're like, that's kind of stupid because like literally all you did was beat up like a like molester, and I think that's not a reason to like go to jail, but apparently he's a politician, yada yada. Whatever. Point is basically it's an RPG. You do two main kind of things. You kind of do some like school stuff, and then you also do some like RPG like beat people up type shit. Whatever you really interpret that as. So that's like kind of the two kind of like main kind of parts of the game. And the main kind of like subject I'm getting at is essentially like, I think this is a great example of sort of like a narrative and gameplay kind of like sort of dichotomy. So like obviously there's like all these like normal like high school stuff. You go to like the library, you study, you like get food, you go to movies, all that stuff that everyone's like doing right now. But they gamify it so it's not boring as shit. So like you get like sort of like little like points and stuff like towards stats, where you can like meet new people because you have to have a certain amount of like courage to go up to like an arms dealer, for example, or like you have to be charming to like go talk to like the hot girl at school or something like that, or like smart to go like to a doctor, I guess, stuff like that. And like it's a lot of like choice-based stuff. So like, oh yeah, like certain things you say, certain people will kind of agree with more, yada yada, all that shit. Why does this matter is the thing. Well, so after you do kind of all that stuff, also you like do all this prep work, you go to stores, all that, that's cool UI. That was kind of why I had it on here. But the main kind of reason why that's important is like all these people you meet as well. So like the main kind of like draw of the game is like the people you kind of meet. Also, I didn't time myself. Did someone do that?
It's okay.
I'll be fine. I'll be fast. The kind of like main sort of draw of the game is all the different kind of colorful characters you'll meet. They're in black and white here. It doesn't matter. But so they're called these confidants, and there's like these people that like basically you meet with them. They have a little cutscene where they like yada yada. They yap about their own life, and they're like, man, my life sucks type shit. And then they'll give you a perk basically because you like learn something from them is essentially I think like the narrative explanation. But the main kind of appeal of this though is like this kind of enhances everything you do in like the RPG side. So it's not just like meaningless like time wasting stuff. It's like there's an actual gameplay incentive to like go meet with like this weird art guy or like the weird therapist essentially or your cat. But so all of that ties into like these sort of like actual RPG gameplay stuff. So main kind of like stuff that kind of helps with is actual combat, which is, you know, turn-based. You got like party of 4 people at maximum. You fight these kind of shadow guys. They're called shadows. It's psychology type stuff, whatever, it doesn't matter. But there's all these like ailments and stuff, yada yada, and it's fun, it's flashy, it's cool, etc. So like it's all that like kind of like social link stuff helps benefit with like these personas, the title of the series, and those are kind of used. You can fuse them, make some like find more of them, etc. They're kind of like Pokemon, but like they're based off of like mythology and like books and like random shit like that. But the reason why you talk with all these people is because you can make these guys like you can unlock certain ones, and you can also make them stronger because you're friends with like some drug dealer, for example. So essentially, the hanging out with people like kind of helps improve the gameplay side of things, and I think it is very effective at doing that. Also, these slides are not effective at illustrating my point because I made them like 5 years ago. So, anywho, that's all I have. So, also, that was very rough. But I mean, obviously, you can keep it informal. But just a general idea of like what kind of trying to get at. So, what's up?
What's the deal with the cat?
He's like a talking cat because he's a mascot, and he's weird. Yeah.
Is he an actual cat?
He says he's not,
Oh.
but he's a cat.
Oh. Okay.
He just is in denial.
That
So,
sucks.
anyway, yeah. Who wants to go next? Or does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Oh, okay. Does anyone have any other questions? I guess. No. Okay.
Was the fight UI really chaotic looking?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, it's like based off like comic book stuff, so like it's usually like just very flashy, which is like kind of part of the appeal, but like also low-key sometimes it's like a little overwhelming because there's like a lot going on at all times. So, which is why it helps that like the gameplay is like generally a little bit more slow-paced. So, otherwise it would literally just be too much on screen. So, anyway, want to go next? Which one was yours again?
The Outer Wilds.
It was, okay. Sweet. Great. The floor, oh, wait, hold on. Use slideshow. There you go. The floor is yours now.
Does this have sound as well?
It
does.
should.
Okay.
I don't know. If we can do a sound test when we get to like the part where you need it.
Okay, I did Outer Wilds. It's this little indie game about space exploration. Made in 2019 by Mobius Digital and published by Annapurna Interactive. They're not important right now. For the Game Awards in 2019, it won, or it was nominated for Indie Game of the Year, right behind Disco Elysium. Also a very good game. Also very spoiler-ridden. I was going to do that one, but I ended up not. This game's also very spoiler-ridden, so I need to choose my words very carefully here. The entire thing is that you are launched into a world just told to explore. You have no other background other than that. There's like a brief tutorial here. Also, don't get it confused with Outer Worlds. Second one released recently. Also a very good game, also about space exploration. Not this. So first things first with the tutorial. I should say I'm going for atmosphere is the biggest thing with this game. The tutorial, very short. You get a brief overview of like movement mechanics. You get like, oh, you get a jetpack to fly in 0G. You could, turn yourself around, do whatever, and you also get this brief overview of. I guess I have an image here. These little crystal things in your ship like alter gravity, so you could like stand down on the ground when there is 0G, and that's what teaches you there. And it kind of shows how things you learned from before, like, oh, you may not think it matters, but like every little thing, every single detail has a purpose. In that tutorial, you're also given basic equipment, one of which is the Nomai text translator, which I'll get to later. Okay, your character is an unnamed Hearthian, referred to as the Hatchling, and is part of the Outer Wilds Adventures, which is like that space like company that you go exploring in. All these images are random characters. You do not know what you look like in this game up until like very specific circumstances happen. This game is not about you, it's about its world. And so the entire purpose of that is just showing you, there's like, I think I remember correctly, that guy's name's Gabriel. He's pretty cool. So random question, how many people have played Destiny 1, 2, Mass Effect, Starfield, any of those? If I ask any of you about the level design or sort of like planet design of that game, What can you tell me about it in general? Alien.
Jetpack.
I haven't played Starfield, but I've heard from several sources that the worlds were procedurally generated, so there's often not much to see.
Alright, so what I was going to go for with that is, I've only really played Destiny 1 and 2. You travel to all these planets, and you're contained in like this tiny little zone, and don't really get to explore the rest of it. And what Outer Worlds does differently is that every single planet here you could explore completely. Every single planet has like enough detail for you to do pretty much everything in. Like the entire map of Outer Worlds, you get to do pretty much. You see, I have an example of I guess you are a Hearthian, you spawn on Timberhearth. I remember seeing this tiny little red dot in the distance. I was like, that doesn't look like it should be there. I flew over there. There was something there. There's like actually stuff to do everywhere. And so with that, I do want to point out the soundtrack as well, just in the general atmosphere and like world design. Each planet has its own designated like theme song per se. Certain story beats and actions will have their own theme. And so it sort of shows how the music changes as the player himself or themselves changes. For example, the first ever song you would hear when booting up the game, or I guess when booting up the, not the title screen, but rather like you entering the game, is called Timberhearth. Play it real quick. Don't say it ain't so. What the heck? Okay, I won't play it.
If this is the I would be my laptop before the
It could also just be because I turn into a PPT. I'm not sure if you need PPTX in order to play audio.
It's on,
Just because I had an issue with file size, so I turned to that.
Great. Just try playing escape. Does it play like when you click O?
Yeah, we just turned
It might just
Among Us
be a
sound.
stop.
That's what it is.
It might just be. I don't think. Yeah. If you want, I can just pull it up too. If you want. It's just called Timberhearth. Okay. Outer Wilds.
How to use auto.
Oh my gosh, we don't care. We don't care.
Introducing grammar.
We don't care. I have an ad block.
No, you don't.
Just get pie. It's like
What are you talking about? We are not being serious. Okay.
Okay, but what I was gonna say with this is that it is. Do you have open Chrome, or is it just another? Where did the PowerPoint go? There's a PowerPoint. I won't maximize it for now, but it shows how like, oh, this is the first song you ever hear. It's your home planet. It's very cozy sounding in what should be an alien landscape. You know nothing about what's happening. This is somehow like one of the only comforting songs in the game. I'm gonna exit out of that. Where the heck is the present? But oh,
very top.
very. Oh, that's terrible.
Well, there's also the
Where is it?
on the application.
Wait, what's?
Slideshow. Click slideshow.
You just click slide here.
I've never used PowerPoint for Mac before. This is crazy.
You're fine.
Yeah, this is a Mac.
Oh shoot.
Okay, buddy.
Anyway, going with that, most of Outer Wilds storytelling is done through these weird, swirly, text-based things. That's why you have your Know My Translator. And it kind of shows how like no one really tells you anything. It's just shown to you and like through text, kind of showing like, oh, alien landscape. You're alone, other than that first planet, which is why I think that first theme is so good. No quest system. Nothing is told to you. The only thing that like you learn over time about like the story and stuff, and from that you go to new places other than people telling you where to go. This is the first game I used a notebook to track my progress. Like my parents, when they played Zelda for the NES way back when, did that, and that is a foreign concept to me, and now I finally experienced it. I guess end notes here is that I'm the type of person like look up wikis, tutorials, YouTube videos, guides, whatever. Terraria is a really big problem for me. I have a wiki on the other page. Anything from Soft, I look up guides. I think this is the first game that like rewards exploration. That is how you win. Is just learning your environment. Truly recreates a sense of like discovery that you might have gone playing games during your childhood when you didn't really look up guides then. I think that's one of the most unique experiences I've ever had with a game, and I highly encourage you, if you remotely found this interesting, to go play it. Don't look anything up about it though, genuinely. I guess that's it.
Awesome. It's been on my list for a while, so it's also like I feel like you have to be like really like I don't know, like not invested is the word, but like you have to like dedicate quite a bit of time. I feel like to that game. So
20, 30 hours. A lot of hours into it and gotten nowhere.
that checks out. All right, who wants to go next? Okay, you guys have it in the Discord?
I sent it in the meetings.
Okay. Wait, wrong one. Meeting
My
chat.
life is like a
Okay.
video game.
It's true.
PowerPoint. I guess actually I could just leave it on here. Yeah. We'll just do that.
Okay, wait. I start my timer when?
Whenever you start.
If you want.
No, okay. I'll start it now. Okay, the game I chose to present is Yokai Watch, a game from the publisher called Level 5, originally published in the Nintendo 3DS, and very interesting, tomorrow is its 10th year anniversary. A little bit of context, yokai are based off of Japanese folklore, which in the kanji of the word yokai, yo meaning suspicious and kai meaning doubtful. Yokai are born when, for example, let's say your entire life you tried to get a girlfriend but you died never having a husband your entire life. So after you die, you become this yokai that once you inspirit people, you make them not be able to ever get a girlfriend, ever. Same thing if you're like a really, let's say you died as the #1 pro skater in the world. Once you die and you become a yokai, whoever you inspirit suddenly becomes really good at skateboarding. They can either benefit your life or they can worsen your life, and that's how they implement their supernatural abilities. Why Yokai Watch is #1 opinion? Because it is. It creates immersion and introduces a lot of complexity because the game itself has a lot of in-depth. It has a total of 8 entries in the past 10 years. It was the first game that I ever played that introduced like very ambitious mechanics, which I will get to in a minute. And it never fails to deliver because there is always something to do. The post game is so damn long, and I will elaborate that on why. And quick disclaimer, Yokai Watch is not a pocket version of Pokemon. It's even better. Not to be confused, people. Now, this is where the yap session begins. Okay, the lore. Those are the 7 legendary yokai in the first entry. That is Spoilerina, Gilgaros, Poofessor, Shogunyan, Jabakoma, Slurpin, Dandoodle, and Elder Bloom. And like, okay, it all starts here. When this 10-year-old, very similar to Pokemon, when this 10-year-old who is out catching bugs with friends gets stranded from his friend group and is lost in this forest. He is looking for rhino beetles and cicadas to catch, but as he approaches a very big, mysterious-looking tree, he finds that thing. That is called a Crank-a-Kai, which is the game's gotcha machine, which I will talk to a little bit later. And so he's very curious, of course, and so he inserts a quarter and spins the thing, and what comes out is Whisper, your famous yokai butler who says he knows everything about yokai but really doesn't know anything at all. whenever Nate encounters any yokai and wants to solve any issue he comes to, Whisper just like turns around, he pulls out his yokai pad, he looks up the information, and then says like, actually, this yokai does that. So like that's kind of like his personality. And after you meet Whisper, you encounter the first member of your team that will join you for your battles, which is Chibanyan. Quick context of how Chibanyan came to be a yokai. He was crossing the street with his owner, but he walked a little bit too quickly and he got ran over by a truck and died.
Oh, okay.
And so as he was dying, he heard his owner saying, "How dare you let yourself get hit by a truck, you stupid cat." And so that's how he went away. And so ever since, he's been trying, in the same street that he died, he's been trying to defeat every single truck that just comes by, only to be catapulted into the horizon every single time. And that's his backstory. Then here, okay. In Pokemon, you have to catch them all. In yokai, you have to befriend them all. If they don't like you, you're not gonna get them. That creates a very RNG based on how you can progress in the game, because how long it takes for you to actually complete the game is very dependent on how likable you are. If you are likable, you can finish the game in maybe 100 hours. If you are very loathsome, it'll take you maybe 500. It's very hard because the only way that you can increase the odds of the enemy yokai liking you is after you defeat them in a battle, they come up to you and say, "Hey, I like you, I'll give you my medal." And during battle, if you want to increase your odds, you can give them food that they like. If they like the food, little hearts will pop out and then, "Hey, I really liked it, thanks for feeding me." If they liked it but weren't like really like enjoying it, they're gonna get like little lines like, "Hey, thanks for feeding me." And then if they get like a shroud on their head, you are literally not gonna get them at all at the battle, and you just have to like redo it and like find another one. Now the battle mechanics, they are very interesting. First is you don't do anything. You actually don't do anything except for a few things. Your yokai attack automatically, and they have 5 states. They can either loaf around, which is literally do nothing and just take hits. They can attack. They can use techniques, which is like different between each yokai. They can guard, which is just half damage. And they can inspirit either positive buffs or negative debuffs. And one of the only inputs that you actually have as a player are your ultimate moves, which is just their ultimate, where you can either inflict big damage, heal your allies, inspirit every one of your allies, or inspirit negatively all your opponents. And if an enemy yokai were to negatively debuff you with an inspirit, you have to take your yokai out of the battle. You have 3 at the same time, and you are 6 in total. You have the yokai wheel, which you just like spin around to like take out and put in enemy yokai to fight. And to eliminate a enemy in spirit, you have to purify them. So you have to take them out of battle and to do this tiny little mini game on the bottom of your screens, like purify them, and so like they can regain like their regular state. And during battle, you can use items to heal up your yokai. If you buy cheap items, they're gonna heal you for near nothing. If you buy expensive items, they're gonna heal you for a lot. This scales like quite significantly because the cheap versions, they heal like 30 HP, and then the expensive versions heal like almost 200. There's like a really big gap between them. And like as I was saying, you can spin around the yokai wheel to switch out who's gonna be battling and who's gonna be out for the moment. And you have to also keep in mind tribal unities, because there are 8 tribes in total. I will talk them about in a sec. That if you join them together, you get a special bonus in battle that can help you up your chances of winning. And I already talked about the negative debuffs. Every single yokai has a skill. The skill can vary from your adjacent yokai like heal gradually HP, or they can mirror some damage back, or they can have some once I die, I do this to the enemy yokai. There's a lot of like different skills each yokai has, and if you want to increase the power of all your yokai's basic attacks, ultimate moves, and techniques, you have to literally just let them attack, and they'll just like automatically eventually like maybe after like 50 something battles their level will go up, or you can simply buy a little book that increases their level automatically. And then you have 8 tribes. The tribes being Eerie, Slippery, Brave, Mysterious, Tough, Charming, Heartful, and Shady. Eerie and Shady specialize in negative debuffs. Slippery is very, like as its term says, like they're very they tend to like dodge a lot. Heartful is the healing part. The Charming are both fast, they're both fast, strong, and agile. The Brave they always like to attack and they only want to attack. Tough are the quote-unquote strongest, and Mysterious specialize in positive buffs. Now, the Crankakai, the Gacha. There are each tribe has a coin, and there are 8 types of coins for the tribes, and then multiple variants, which are like you can get them from special events, limited editions, or regional variants. And depending on which coin you use, you can get a yokai from that tribe or a regular item. And then the post game. In the post game, you gain access to special bosses, extra quests and favors, unlock new areas, unlock new yokai, rebattle every single boss from the regular game, unlock hidden items and modes, unlock mini games, and once you actually complete the game, you can actually unlock every single thing that you need to 100% the game, which a regular playthrough is around 200 hours if you do everything right. And then I have between the first and the second games over 470 hours, and I am starting the third one, which is a little bit more intense. This one has like 200, has like maybe 300 yokai, and then the third entry has over 750. And then I think that's it. And then thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Cool.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All right. Watch it, bro. All right. All right. Is there who wants to go next? You do? Which one's yours?
Mine was
Still Seasons? Okay. All right. And use slideshow. Cool. There you go.
My name's Nathan, and I wanted to talk about skill ceilings, or more just what makes a game fun to learn, because I guess I have this specific like gaming brain worm where I want games to have a ridiculous skill ceiling even if I'm personally never going to get there. And so I think there are a few factors in this. So what I wanted to do is sort of walk through a couple of my favorite video game genres and see why I find it so fun to learn them, even though I suck at most of them. So I wanted to start with real-time strategy, which is a lot. It's even within the gaming space, real-time strategy is considered like turbo nerd shit. But what I think makes it so engaging is that it's very multifaceted. There's a lot to mess around with in these sorts of games, and despite that, every individual game is very short, so it feels like there's always something more to learn. The main way this shows up in RTS is the difference between micro and macro, with macro being like how you manage your resources and your economy and what your overall like strategy is, and micro being moving around like your individual units on the map. And yeah, most RTSs follow this basic formula of you have this sort of base with several different resources, build units, kill your opponent. Problem is, as I said, these sorts of games are relatively inaccessible, and so that depth can be sort of obfuscated by you will feel lost for a lot of your initial games. And so if we jump over to a different genre, we can see a kind of game that is maybe more intuitive up front, and that would be fighting games. And so maybe you might think like fighting games intuitive, that doesn't really add up, but a lot of what we think is inapproachable about fighting games is like sort of that next level, which we'll get to. But on the surface, it's you can look at a fighting game and instantly realize how to win. Like, that's you, that's your opponent, beat up your opponent until their life bar is empty. And that's what I think makes fighting games very pick up and play comparative to RTS maybe. And that's what I mean by intuitive. Now, there is maybe a sticking point, several sticking points with fighting games once you get past that entry level. A surprising one is combos. I've heard it brought up with fighting games a lot about just how like difficult combos can be. And what I think is the hardest part about it is that it's basically different for every fighting game. Like, for every other difficulty that comes with a genre, usually once you can do it in one game, you can do it in every game. Like even motion inputs, which is this mess down here, you only really need to learn once, but then yeah, every game usually has its own unique combo system. And so even if a game is like, even if you understand like what you need to do to win, you don't always understand how to get there. And I think combos are emblematic of that, because there's a lot of game knowledge required to like make this work without just spending a long time like in training mode and looking up guides. So moving along from fighting games then, are like boomer shooters and arena shooters. And what I think is great about these is that, like, in addition to the intuitiveness of the genre of fighting games, boomer shooters are very immediate in a way that especially like a lot of modern shooters aren't. It's like I'm going a bit too fast here. One sec. Yeah, in a similar way to like you jump in and you immediately know what to do. Here it's like you're given your weapons. In the case of a multiplayer game, you're shown the enemy team. Kill them. It's like, or maybe it's a different game mode, like capture the flag in the screenshot, but it's still very simple. But there is still like that skill ceiling where in arena shooters, these older shooters, it comes across a lot in like the movement, where generally the speed is just cranked up way more above like modern shooters. And so you really get to like outplay opponents on like that sort of scale. There's a lot I left out in sort of this ramble session, but I think I wanted to come up with a game that sort of like has all of these aspects of being like very multi-layered, but also intuitive and very immediate. I think Tetris is that game because I think it's the combination of all of these things that does like make Tetris a classic. Because it's intuitive and immediate, because who doesn't know how to play Tetris? Or even if you don't, you could probably figure it out just by looking at the game. But at the same time, you can just get ridiculously good at it. Not this. But if you've ever had the pleasure of watching like high-level Tetris, you've seen that people are going so unbelievably fast. And even for a game this simple, there's a lot of little like techniques you can learn. I've been getting back into Tetris and playing at like a much higher level than I used to, and so this was sort of the, I guess, realization for me, like, oh, this is like, well, I don't know. I thought I was going somewhere with that, but yeah, that was pretty much all I had. Oh, did I
you're
unplug
good.
something?
Nah, it's fine. It's probably charged by now. I'm at 23%. It'll be okay. Surely it'll last another like 30 minutes or so. That's fine. Alrighty. Okay, I think of the ones here currently, it's either Donovan or Adam. You guys gotta fight over who goes first.
I want to go last just because of my little.
You'll have to pull it
surprise
up
at
in
the
the.
end.
You have to pull it up in the Discord because I did update it
Okay.
a little bit.
You just passed it?
I did literally just look at it. Yeah.
Me when I pass it.
Me when I pass the slides. Okay.
Me when you
Try
do
not to
that.
trip over that.
Alright. Yeah, my own charge.
Alright.
It probably feels bad as fuck for that. Yeah, I mean yours didn't want to work, so I have to take the brunt out of mine. Alright, so my name's Donovan. Case study today that I present to you is Dark Souls and why some people garnet it as one of the best games ever, me included. So start off with the storyline. It's, you're starting in a fantastical world. Gives the player the rundown for the world, and this opening cutscene. It's only like 2 minutes, if that, long before they can start playing the game, and it's also skippable, so you can just like get up immediately, go. Rundown for the story that's in the cutscene. Gwyn, who's the guy who's pretty much the god in the story, consolidates power by branding you with this dark sign that makes you go hollow and crazy and lose your sanity. After some time, when Gwyn's power fades, Queen of Izalith tries to recreate it. Doesn't go right, gives birth to demons, just slight mishap. After even more time, like I said, pygmies, normal people start to go crazy, lose their sanity, and that's where you come in. Your character, when you start out playing the game, you're in this asylum for 4 undead hollows, and then you're eventually freed, and then on your journey, you're given the choice to either link the flame, continue it, or extinguish it. So, in case you don't know what Dark Souls is, there is an item menu system, leveling up. For this example, I give weight. So, in the item menu system, we have armor. If you don't have enough stamina, you'll start heavy rolling, which means that your rolls will be slower. You won't be as fast. You won't be able to carry as much stuff. Speaking of rolling, we have iframe rolling, which means with that weight system, there's light, medium, and heavy rolling. Each of those have different iframes, which are invincibility frames. So when you roll an attack, you obviously won't get hit by it. Experimental lock-on, because at the time in 2011, locking on to a boss was relatively new. And then I have it blocked by the item menu, but we have in Dark Souls, relatively big bosses. Environment. So here in these images for right now, I just have the layout of Undeadburg, which is the starting area of the game, and Orlando, which is about the climax or midpoint of the game, and then over in the right side we have Firelink Shrine, just the starting area where you go in. Traveling to the first bell, which is the first objective that you're given in the game. So I'll come over here and point to it. So here is Firelink Shrine where you start. You'll walk over here all the way up through this church area, come over here, back around, and then you'll find them up here. Seems pretty massive on the board, but in game it's all relatively condensed. You can see here in the church, you'll actually have an elevator that goes back down to Firelink Shrine. It's a pretty nice shortcut that once you have unlocked, it's pretty nice. So that's just the travel to the first area, and then if we zoom out, we can see the entire map. And you can see actually how condensed Dark Souls 1 actually is in relative to like other games that came out or games that are coming out now. Dark Souls 1 is pretty small. Bosses. We got Fatty and Skinny here. Ornstein and Smo. Ornstein on the right, Smo on the left. Regarded as one of the best bosses in the game, if not in the Souls franchise. As it says, Ornstein pretty quick in the boss fight, while Smo on the left is very slow, but he hits much harder. Another boss I have listed is the Four Kings, which is what you would call normally a DPS check or a level check, and in some instances, or skill check, I said, where every 30 seconds, as soon as you enter the boss fight, another Four Kings will spawn, which is what they're called. So essentially what you're trying to do is there's one main health bar, but you're trying to kill each king before the next one spawns, pretty much. And then so Dark Souls 1 isn't a perfect game. This is about the halfway point. After killing Ornstein and Smo, you get the Lord Vessel, which allows you to fast travel. Because beforehand you just don't get to, which is very fun. So once you get the Lord Vessel, it kind of goes into this rushed, lazy production, which just due to developmental struggles. So, which I will show here, because after Ornstein and Smo, you have to defeat the other, the Primordial Souls. You have to defeat Queen of Izalith and all those people. So, with the developmental struggles, you run into disjointed map design, rushed areas, rushed bosses, which I will show in a second. And then players feeling like they have to change their playstyle to match the area. Again, that goes with the rushed boss design. I think I have it here. So after Ornstein and Smo, you have 3 different areas. One is a fire pit. One is a giant tomb where you literally can't see shit if you don't have a flashlight. And the other one is where you have to drop magic pebbles to see where you're going. Yeah. Yep. So... So for Lost Izalith here in the top left, we have... Yeah, if you don't drop the pebbles, you just have to pray you're on the right path.
You can see the multiplayer messages on the...
Yeah, that's... If you aren't playing online, good luck. So, anyways, before I get to that, this is the Queen of Izalith, this giant behemoth of a tree. And the way that the boss fight works is where you see these 2 circles in her boss arena, you just have to go punch them. But it's regarded as one of the worst boss fights because the little tree handles that she has breaks the wall or breaks the floor, and you can just fall through. It's really fun. Luckily, it is one of the bosses that FromSoft has ever designed where it saves your progress in the boss fight. So that's like the only saving grace. Now, as for Skittles in the middle, in order to defeat Seath on the bottom, you have to go through the Duke's Archive into the Crystal Caves. And the Crystal Caves is where you find this invisible trail to get to him. Apparently, according to the lore of the game is like the design of the area, there's snowflakes that you have to find that barely show up. So you just have to pray that there's messages and you have enough Skittles to put on the ground. But even then, when you get to Seath, it is a little taxing because, as you can see in the bottom here, this is the fog gate where you enter. And in order to damage him, he has a crystal behind him that you have to go hit. If you don't hit it, and if you don't know to hit it, he will just take no damage. And last one, on the right, Tomb of the Giants. Like I said, you need a flashlight to do it. If you are not doing a magic build or have not completed a certain quest line in the game, you literally can't see until you get kicked into a hole to grab a flashlight. So, it's a really fun area, especially when you don't realize that you have to defeat Ornstein and Smo first and you have to travel all the way back. Don't ask me how I know this. Definitely didn't do this on one of my first playthroughs. Anyways, dude under him is Nito. His boss fight isn't that bad, other than what I mean by having to change their playstyle. The skeletons in the area don't die. They come back to life if you don't have an occult weapon. So have fun trying to kill them with 20 other skeletons. It's really, really fun. This is all to say, in conclusion, what makes a game feel nice to players. An interconnected world that makes it feel lived in. When it operates like a normal world, when you have that, it encourages the player to look around, explore more. And giving your players a challenge with a clear defined boss. The reason I showed Ornstein and Smo in the Four Kings is when you have either a DPS check or a skill check, if you have one of those two, it is a really, really nice reward for the player when they are facing a challenging boss or they are facing a boss that you need to be a certain level for in order to beat them. And then a rush production can heavily impact how your players play your game, even if it's a minor change. For instance, for Lost Izalith, in order to traverse the lava without literally burning to a crisp in 2 seconds, you need to defeat a mini-boss that has a ring. And you need to put the ring on. And if we go back to, where is it? If we go back to the item menu, you can see all the way on the left here, you only get 2 ring slots. So, if you want to traverse Lost Izalith, good luck with one ring that you want to wear. So, and that's all I've got.
Question.
What's that?
I have not played Dark Souls 1. Do the little rainbow rock skittle things reset when you die?
Do they? I don't think so.
They do?
They do.
No.
Oh wait, like as if they don't stay?
They vanish? When
Oh,
you
they
die.
vanish. Yes.
That is miserable, dude.
So, yeah, I can pull it up, but it's you just have to hope that you find the sign message, and just go straight and pray you're going the right way.
That's beautiful.
One message for the first invisible
Yeah.
level, but there's multiple.
Gotcha.
I think there's 2, and the first one has a message, and you just have to pray you're just going straight.
That's insane.
One of those say something.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Well, just one of the things I like about Dark Souls is that there's so many aspects that you kind of brought up. There's so many aspects of this game that I kind of hate.
Yeah, there's so many things I could have talked about, but there's only a 10-minute limit, so.
Yeah.
But, within the context of the full playthrough, it all just feels like this grueling journey to the point where it all feels
I was gonna say, everything I've heard about Dark Souls 1 legit just sounds like gratuitous suffering in the video game.
I think the first half of it genuinely might be the best game in the game.
Oh no, it's not the first half.
Yeah,
Too cool
exactly.
for you.
First half is peak.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Adam. I'm doing my presentation on TF2 and why TF2 is too cool for you. What?
Which TF2?
I'll get to that. So, which TF2? Well, it's the best one, Team Fortress 2, duh. So anyway, if you don't know, TF2 is a class-based team shooter similar to Overwatch, but in my opinion, it's kind of awesome. So, anyway, I'm not going to talk that much about it. I'm going to assume everyone has at least heard of it. So, my key points today for why TF2 is the best game to ever be made is I'm going to be talking about the movement, the shooting mechanics, the art direction, and its legacy. So for the movement, so there's a large set of movement options for each class, and there's 9 classes. And every class has their own specific items or tools that are tailored to their movement set and their abilities. So you can do a lot of really cool mixing and matching with combinations of just how your loadout is built. And there's also a very high skill ceiling for movement in this regard. There's a lot of items for each class that completely change how your movement system works. And some examples for movement tech would be rocket jumping, sticky jumping, knockback surfing, and tripping. I don't expect you to know all those, but I'll go over a few of them. Rocket jumping, you have your rocket launcher, you shoot it at the ground, and it launches you forward. There's a lot you can do with that. And tripping is a very niche TF2 tech where if you are playing the demo man and have a shield, you have an ability to charge forward at a very high rate of speed. Well, you can kind of get the physics engine to freak out, and if you kind of do that on a sloped surface, it'll kind of shoot you up in the air, and then you have full air control, or full movement control in the air, and you can kind of place yourself wherever you need to be to get some epic frags. So I found some GIFs on the internet that demonstrate this point. Sorry if it's a little hard to tell, but on the left you have rocket jumping, where you can kind of slide across the ground if you get your movement just right, and then you can just kind of land on somebody. Same with tripping, where on the right, if you charge into a sloped surface, you go, wham, and it's awesome. You raised your hand?
No.
Okay. My next topic, shooting mechanics. So like I said, every class has access to several unique weapons. Each of them, every weapon kind of functions fundamentally differently from the next. Every class has their own. And so, for instance, the demo man, he has a grenade launcher, which, you shoot it, it throws a little cylinder, and then it explodes upon contact, kind of like Junkrat from Overwatch, if you've played that. But the different grenade launcher unlocks, they don't necessarily change the fact that they're a grenade launcher, but they change the shape of your projectile, which is taken into account in the physics engine of the game. So the default grenade launcher shoots cylinders, but there's another one that shoots just balls. So it travels through the air in a much more predictable arc, and whenever it hits the ground, it rolls much straighter versus the cylinders. They kind of tumble and roll more sporadically. So there's a lot you can do strategically with that. Also, there is a very delicate weapon balance between all the 9 classes. So even though if you ask somebody, like, oh, what's the best weapon? And they'll just give you a very short list, and there's a lot of bad weapons, even with the really bad stinkers, you can still do a lot. You can still stomp lobbies if you know what you're doing, which I really like that. And the different weapon combinations can have synergy with each other. And it's just really fun to just experiment with different play styles. It just never gets boring, unless you're bored, in which case that sucks. So here's some shooting examples. So on the left, we just have some basic scout gameplay. He's kind of like ADHD simulator. You're kind of like running around. He's the fastest moving class in the game. He has a double jump, and his whole gimmick. His whole gimmick is that you just got to get up close and do very high burst damage before the guy that you're shooting kills you because you have 0 HP. And then on the right is gameplay of the demo man, and you can do some really cool skill shots where if someone's in the air, you can intercept them during their flight with your projectiles, and then they just explode like it's fireworks, and it's awesome.
These transitions.
That's awesome. Okay, next topic, art direction. So TF2, I feel like, looks a lot different from pretty much every other hero or movement shooter or any of that. And I feel like its cartoony art direction has kind of helped it age better. Whenever you look at it, you're like, oh, it's not a disgusting, crusty game from 2007. You're like, oh, it's a disgusting, crusty game from like 2014. You know, big difference, big difference. And also, its art style, you know, a lot of flat colors. The character designs are very exaggerated. It makes it easy to identify which player is what. You know, if there's the heavy from TF2 in front of you, you're like, oh, that's him. I know who that is. Like, even if you're very far away. You can see from this diagram here, you can tell which every character is, but it's just a silhouette.
I don't know. I thought Spy was Rick Astley at first. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know Goku in this game.
You just gotta play it to know, you know.
They've gone the Fortnite route, you know, adding a lot of pop culture characters.
I just can't wait to play Goku.
And then generally the low visual clutter from the art style and the level design just keeps you focused on the action. It's not like League of Legends or some crap where it's like 10 billion things happening at once. It's like, wow, there are guys that I must shoot. This is what I must do. So. And then just to illustrate this, Valve, you know, did a lot of concept art before actually making environments in the game, and they would actually make these you know, paintings almost inspired by real artists to kind of figure out like the colors and just the visual language of the game space. And then lastly, legacy. So TF2 is old. Old enough to vote, but you guys have still probably heard of it, and I think that's pretty cool. And I do believe TF2 has helped shape the internet in the early 2010s just through memes, animations, Gmod, and it's inspired countless community projects and kickstarted careers. And I really do feel like TF2 has set a new standard, you know, relative to 2007, for hero shooters that many games that followed kind of followed in its footsteps and improved upon. So that's pretty much it, but there is one bonus thing if we have time. I have an epic 2-minute frag video that I made 3 years ago. If you guys want to watch it, I'm not going to force you guys to watch it. Okay, you guys want to watch it? Okay.
Also, what do you mean?
It's an only time. Makes my reputation something more than white. I know it serves me right, but I can't sleep at night. I have to hide my face or go some other place. I won't cry out for justice, admit that I was wrong. I stay in hibernation till the talk subsides to the dawn. The social life is done. My name is real and mud. I'm up to here in life. I guess I'm down to size. I can't seem to talk about things that bother me. Seem to be what everybody has. My social life's a thug. My name is real as mud. I'm up to here in life. I guess I'm down to size.
Thank you for watching my epic frag montage.
Absolute cinema.
Thank you. Okay, that's it.
Sweet. All right. I think, is that the last one? I think so. Oh yeah, did you have one?
And not really. I kind of gave up on it.
Okay, that's fine.
I was just really talking about Cuphead, but that was it.
Gotcha. I mean, do you wanna, like, do you have slides or?
I mean, I have like few, but they're not really detailed at all.
Doesn't have to be. We have a couple minutes if you wanna go.
Let me.
Yeah, just send it in the Discord
I'll
real
send
quick.
it through, like a PDF.
Okay, or however it works. So. Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll send it to you right away.
Sure. I guess I'll just kind of make a point real quick while Garen's sending his stuff. Hope this was a fun meeting. A little different than what we normally kind of do, but I just wanted to like try to illustrate this idea of like kind of being able to think critically about like what we enjoy about games and like kind of analyze them from like a broader perspective. I think can really help with our own projects. A lot of time, like most people in the industry, really try to like find things that like they like within other games. I mean, there's literally countless games that were inspired by other games. I mean, like, Adam even mentioned with like TF2 is like most hero-based shooters that have come out in the last probably 20 years largely were probably based on TF2 as a major influence. So, even if Adam wants to make like a game similar to TF2, it's always a good way to kind of see what works and what doesn't work to kind of help like influence your own kind of ideas. So that was kind of the main kind of goal. So hopefully maybe taught you a little bit on how kind of like analyze games in a different way, maybe. I don't know. If not, that's fine too. But all right, we got the Cuphead presentation real quick. And then, all right. Okay. It's a PDF, so yeah, you'll just have to scroll.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so this one's kind of like last minute. I made this in like 5 minutes. So I'll just talk over it while I talk about the game.
Be careful.
Okay, so y'all probably know Cuphead. It's a game that came out back in 2017. It's a run and gun shooter. It shares an art style from the 1930s. Actually, all of it was hand-drawn, so that's pretty interesting. It's a main focus are mainly boss fights, and I just think that's pretty cool because, I like boss fights, and each one feels pretty unique. You also have tons of different weapons you can use. I think that's pretty creative. Here's some concept art I found on Google. And the game is pretty challenging, but I personally enjoy it. I don't play the hardest games, but I do like to play like the occasional difficult game, and I feel like this is a good balance of that. This is also like my favorite game of all time, but I can't really think of anything to say, sadly. So, yeah, game good. Thank you for your time.
All right. So I think that's our last one then. So yeah, thank you everybody who made a presentation for tonight. A lot of fun hearing about, all the games you guys like, and also letting me yap about my niche anime RPGs, whatever, yada yada. Now I need to actually find the slides. There we go. Okay. Okay, yeah, 10-1. It's secretly October 10th. First, I misspoke. You cut that out. Cut it out. Okay. Just some reminders then. Game Jam will be next week on Friday, so make sure it's in your calendars. I mean, it probably should be because I think I mentioned it like every week for the last like month. But remember that it's happening. We'll be going over some Game Jam prep stuff next week. So if you guys have any like questions or concerns or like anything you want to know about the Game Jam prior, I'll try to help answer that as best we can, as well as just like kind of going over the general rules, procedures, stuff like that. So additionally, the semester jam, 1 month away from that being done. So make sure you got something going on with that if you're planning on participating. Theme is money, as has been, so as long as it relates to that. Adam's still here if you're interested in paying dues, getting a t-shirt. But yeah, without further ado, go forth, make games, be awesome. So. You clapping like that? All right. Cool.